Okay, it is, I have 7:07 PM. And we can get going. Director Dillon has not responded. So I'll go over I'll do the roll call. So let's see. Amrit, you're here?
Yes, Roger, I'm here.
Najat, you're here, correct? You're
Yeah,
still
I'm
on?
here. Yes.
Sebastian,
Here.
Raghu, Malapaga?
Here.
Okay. TJ is not here. Rajinder? Rajesh? And Jensen was not able to make it this evening. Okay. So public comments, no action or discussion shall be taken on any item raised during public comment, except that committee members may briefly respond to statements or questions. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please turn off all cell phones and pagers. Please mute your microphone if you are participating through Zoom. Raise your hand through the Zoom icon if you would like to speak. You may enter any questions into the chat box. Okay, approval of minutes for last month was September 21st. Are there any objections?
No.
Okay. Item number 5, we will skip that as Director Dillon is not present. Crime prevention. I have not had any new neighborhood watch meetings, and nobody has actually reached out in the last month. On the positive note, we have plans to do our business watch outreach on Tuesday. So it'll be myself, Lieutenant Lindeman from the Sheriff's Office, and Sergeant Ward. So we will make our rounds to the businesses in Mountain House and provide information and speak with them about their concerns. Public safety planning calendar. So the only thing I have going on is we are having a trick or treat goodie bag handout, and that will be on Halloween between the hours of 2 and 5 at the town hall. So it's for children, and the children have to be present. So we purchased candy, a bunch of goodies, and oh, sorry, I think I just tweaked my back. Ugh. And we have some public safety agencies that donated some goodies. So we had some from the CHP. The Sheriff's Office will be providing some goodies, and rank as well. And I'm waiting to hear back from the fire chief if they're going to add anything. So that's the only thing we have going on. And for item number 7, crime trends, I will leave that to the Sheriff's Office.
Hi, this is Sergeant Ward. Right now, we're not seeing anything that's worth popping up. It's actually been quite calm for right now, so we'll see.
All right, good to hear. While you're still on, any traffic safety concerns? Sergeant Ward, do you have any traffic safety concerns from the sheriff's side?
Sorry, having a hard time unmuting this thing. It's just those typical traffic issues that we have around here, schools and stuff like that.
Speaking of traffic and schools, so the high school will be having their homecoming parade tomorrow, and it sounds like the notifications were not made properly to notify the public safety agencies. So that's something I'll have to discuss internally when we issue the encroachment permits, that maybe we can change it so we don't rely on the applicant making the notifications, because it rarely happens, if at all. And we can move over, skip item number 9. The fire department is not logged on.
Roger, Jason Fuller, Mountain
Oh,
House
I'm
Fire.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, you can skip on by. That's fine.
No. No, please
No,
speak up.
so Jason Fulmer, Deputy Fire Chief with French Camp and Mountain House Fire. Chief Cornelison couldn't be on tonight, so I told him I could jump on between picking up kids from sporting practices. Fire prevention. Well, we wrapped up our fire prevention week this last Saturday with our annual pancake breakfast. Leading up to that, we did school assemblies at all Mountain House elementary schools and then also at Lambersville. So that was a jam-packed week. Most days had 3 schools in one day. But that led up to the pancake breakfast, which was it was a good success. I think our numbers were down a little bit from last year, but still, a large number of the public came through, which was good. Support from Sheriff's Office, AMR, Mountain House board members. So it was a good day, a long day. A lot of planning and sweat and tears goes into that breakfast, but we're always happy to do it. It's nice to see the public come through. So that was our excitement last week. I know Chief Cornelson's still working diligently with the Mustang Square project to try to get that thing moving forward. As far as fire hazards, really not much. Knock on wood. I thought the weather was turning until the last couple days. I got back from Washington yesterday afternoon and it was like 90 degrees in Sacramento. And so, but it looks like we got cooler weather coming, some rain on Sunday. So with that being said, hopefully, fire season and grass fire season is starting to wind down. Chief Cornelson and I are diligently working on some department-wide stuff for electric vehicle fires. That's kind of the big buzzword right now in the fire service as a whole. We have the best system, which is good. I'm also getting ready to order an EV thermal fire blanket, which will assist in EV fires when they do arise. So those are kind of some of the things that we're working on as the fire department.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We can move on to the previous discussion updates, 10A. Chris, do you have anything on district emergency plans?
No, actually, we were just having some discussions earlier this week about where they were regarding training. Last draft is with staff and has been for a while, so it's just a matter of it moving forward through the system. Otherwise, nothing new has been produced because everything's been produced. It's just a matter of getting it codified, and then training will be at the convenience of staff as soon as they let us know when they want to train.
Sounds good. 10B, camera system updates. I am working on renewing the agreement with Flock. So that covers our ALPRs. So hoping it'll be done by the end of the month. And we just have some issues. I received the proposals this afternoon and noticed some errors or lack of detail. So I'll address that in the morning and hopefully get that sorted out. And as of right now, Avigilon remains the same. We have not added any new cameras, and I'll have to get with Charlie on our camera master plan to see where we stand. And that's it on camera systems.
Hey, Roger, I got a question whenever you get a chance.
Yes, sir.
It kind of runs multiple things, I guess, fire, traffic safety and stuff. Recently, we had a power outage. My question is, and lots of people were asking us, knowing they were in the public safety or what happened and so forth. Do we have a sort of a system once we find out as a Mountain House ESD or somewhere we can post as to what the cause was or some sort of issue to alert the folks as to what's happening once we know it? Awareness of it went out for a few hours, in fact. And the second part is, were the camera systems working at that point? Did we lose them as well? I know the traffic signals were not working. What was the plan of that? What happens when the traffic signals go out? Do they automatically go into a stop sign situation, or how does that work? I don't know. I didn't step out that day.
As far as the cause and concerns on the outage itself, I'm not sure. Steve, do you have any answers on that or any other information?
Yeah, this is probably the only the second hour plus outage we've ever had here in Mountain House. And apparently, MID didn't give me any information at all. And apparently it was an issue with WAPA, which is the main power supply for the West Coast they have a substation very close to MID. And because of some issues at WAPA as a precautionary measure, they shut down the substation for MID. Since we have such a new station there, it's incredibly reliable. But that morning I did go out and we had 4 traffic signals that have battery backups that did not function. None of our traffic signals are ever supposed to go out. And so we're working with our contractor, St. Francis, on that right now. And we are now arranging in the future for having a backup supply for being able to place out stop signs and things like that. The challenge is such a small agency, we don't have, on-call staff. I had the sheriff and rank help me out, but we're making arrangements to where we have people, just like at the utility, we have people on very short notice, so it's never an issue at the utility. Right. We're talking to the county and some other folks about making sure that we've got the ability to quickly move out and deal with those 4-way stop signs if necessary. But we've never had one off hours before where it's ever been an issue, frankly, because of the reliability of MID, and any other time in the past where it was extended, we knew ahead of time. So I'm working with our staff to make sure we have better on-call service. The traffic light people are supposed to be checking those lights every couple months to make sure the batteries work. And unfortunately at Henderson and at Arnado and two of the ones in Arnado, although I knew the one by the apartments didn't have their battery yet, that's on the way, but the Arnado and De Anza, Mustang and Mountain House over across from the high school on Central, and then Van Sosten, there's no excuse for why those weren't going to at least flashing red. And then we actually had some other ones that were fully functional, which we need to change, because actually if you leave them fully functional, the backup battery doesn't last as long. So, we pay people good money to make sure we have all redundancy on these things. So it was a little disappointing. We've had a long talk with our contractor already about making sure this performs better in the future. As far as getting notice out to people, we're working on, I don't know if Chris can expand on that because I know Rex is working on it, or maybe Roger, you're working with Nixle now, Everbridge, to set up better citywide notifications on things. Although I think most folks know to just look at the MID website, gives you the information within seconds. And the minute I woke up because my mister went off, my humidifier went off, it woke me up, went straight onto the MID site, and it showed the entire city was out. So I assumed it was some kind of substation issue, but nobody from MID really helped me out. So Roger or Chris, do you have any update on Everbridge, Nixle, or want to educate the committee a little bit more on that?
We are still waiting on Well, Rex has Michelle going through all the tedious training. And what she was going to do is once she completes that, she was going to train the staff, the select staff that will be taking over Everbridge or Nixle. So that way we're kind of, she's picking and choosing what information is best to pass on and not passing along what is, I guess, the filler information that really
Right.
is useless to us. So
Yeah.
that's Rex gave me an update on that. I believe it was Monday. So I think she's on the tail end of completing that and actually typing up the training instructions for us.
Chris or Roger, do you want to tell everybody what Nixle is?
Actually, I'm I am not in the Nixle world.
I thought you were.
I'm on the other side of the wall on that one. I haven't gotten myself in there. I will say this though, and I think this is worthy of consideration. And since my superpower is saying out loud what everybody else in the room is thinking, maybe I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. But I've never lived in a municipality where the municipality's responsibility was to tell me that the power was out. That, you know, for what that's worth. But as far as Nixle and that stuff goes, I have to punt that back over to Roger.
Nixle is
This is
a
Ahmed. Sorry.
communication.
Go ahead, Roger.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it's not so much of a requirement or anything, Chris, but I think more of a longevity of the outage and everything else happening. And on my own street, there were people were almost in home invasion type of deal happening because they didn't have any cameras on, light was out, and 3-4 incidents that happened from public safety point of view because of the outage, maybe. I'm guessing people are taking advantage, immediately jump on taking advantage of that stuff, and they try to get in people's homes that way. Not that I don't know whether it was reported to the police or anybody else, but my corner neighbor here, you know, they kind of were home and they tried to come out and people ran away and knocked some things off the door. So it's not, to your point, yeah, I don't think it's a requirement for the CSD to inform the community, but do we have as part of the emergency plan system to see whenever we find out people go to a certain website like CSD site, someplace, a public safety concerns, and alert comes up and say, we know about it, we're working on it, that kind of thing. So it kind of mitigates a little bit. That's all, especially if it's long enough like this, which, like Steve said, I think it's, you know, once in a lifetime, hopefully once in a lifetime deal, but it happened twice in past couple of years, not a couple of years since we opened, I guess. So it was just a kind of, you know, a concern that came out from multiple people calling folks, people calling Harry, of course, and being on the committee, calling us, trying to find it out. I did the same thing Steve did. I went to MID site and posted in my work groups, WhatsApp and Facebook and all that stuff, showing the map, and that kind of helped a lot of people knowing what's happening. So it's just, you know, do we have any emergency plan that we drew, or district emergency plans call for that, or is there any accommodation in there? You know, this was the time to kind of activate that part of it. There was one. That's the kind of questions I had.
Yeah, I mean, the Nixle is a notification service that we're working on. But, you know, we do have a process for outages. The challenge we had was you know, and I've had this issue in every municipality I've worked in where the power company, they don't let us know any sooner than anybody else, if then.
Yeah.
And I've got the MID general manager's phone number, but that doesn't mean when these things are going on, he usually has no interest in answering the phone. So that's the challenge. And they did take a lot longer than normal to post something, which was unfortunate. And it's something that we're in discussions. We'll be discussing that with them. The good news is we, knock on wood, we have so few outages here. But I can tell you that the sheriff's deputy, I spoke with him and he was reacting, you know, with the power out, a number of alarms went off. And so he was very busy dealing with alarms that morning. But I don't know if the sergeant has any report, but I wasn't aware of any thing reported that morning. As far as crime.
Is
No,
rank, Steve, is
I
rank,
just-
is
Hey, this is
rank
Sergeant Ward.
has-
I just want to let everybody know that going through all the dailies and seeing the CAD printouts of all the deputies, there were multiple, I think by 10, 11 o'clock, I think my deputy responded to about 10 alarm calls, all of them being caused by the power outage. However, this week there were no reports of any type of break-ins or attempted break-ins at all.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, sorry, one more, Roger. Were the cameras went dead as well too, or were they kept up working? The LPRs and the camera systems?
So the surveillance cameras are hardwired, so they would have lost power. The ALPRs are solar, so they would remain powered up.
Thank you.
I can also tell you that even though Starbucks was closed, people went over there and actually still had coffee.
That's cool.
And going back to Nixle, it's an alert system for the community within Mountain House. So residents actually have to sign up to receive notifications, and it'll be emergency notifications. So informative for if there's a shelter in place, road closures, anything that involves public safety concerns, immediate public safety concerns will push that out in Nixle. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully soon it'll be up and running. I don't know when exactly, but I would imagine by the end of the year is what it sounds like.
That would be really good. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns on? I forgot what topic we're on. Was it 10B? believe it's
I have
10B.
a follow-up question in regards to the outage and the emergency plan. So I know that I don't know much faster, but with an extended power outage, at what point would that trigger an emergency plan type situation?
Chris, do you have an answer for that? Do we have an emergency plan
For an extended power outage?
or extended? Even then, what would the
Looking at
definition be?
Yeah, looking at the community, when you're talking about the actually emergency operations center, opening up a center and so on like that. I have never seen an extended power outage treated as the type of emergency that you would look at for in terms of like a flood or an earthquake or something like that. So as I would have to throw that. Steve, have you ever seen just a power outage as part of an emergency operations plan?
No, but typically what happens is you usually have your almost exclusively, although when I was in Tahoe, we had them just random up there. But typically they're also associated with a storm event of some type is
Right.
what usually happens is I'd say 99% of the time they're associated with some kind of weather issue. And frankly, out here in the valley, unlike when I was up in the mountains, it's really rare to have a power outage more than 4 to 6 hours, anything like that. There'd have to be a real, we're particularly where we are right at the edge of the grid here situation. I can't even think of a time in Tahoe, we had some pretty bad ones, but that's because they only had one way in and one way out, which they fixed. But we have so many different ways to restore power here that it's not really an issue.
Yeah,
Like myself, living in the county area where if you cough too loud, the power goes out. So I have several generators.
And
Yeah.
since Roger and I are semi neighbors, we're not too very far away from each other.
You know the pain, Chris.
I have we have a well, and I actually have a water tank that I can use to flush toilets and things like that off of if when the power goes out. Now, I will say that last year during some of the storms, some of the places in Stockton, in the middle of the city, lost power for 3, 4, and 5 days. But by and large, as far as any actual municipal emergency planning goes, it's almost always something like on extremely hot days, we'd open a cooling center, or if there's no if there's no power at all and people don't have water, we would open a water distribution point or something like that. But in terms of just not having any power, I've never seen that be part of a municipal plan. So it would be attached to something else, and the loss of power would be a byproduct of some other disaster.
Yeah, and typically the county, OAS on those issues help participate if you've got concentrated neighborhoods with issues and things like that.
Yeah,
And
the main thing.
again, our big issue is we've got the utilities with, the utilities have a plan and they have backup generators that can go on for quite a while. And so that's where we focus our effort in making sure the toilet's still flush and the water still flows.
Yeah,
And-
I would say that the main thing that you'd be concerned about would be any home that has some type of a life support, like a breathing
Yeah.
assist, something like that. And
Yeah.
with that going on, then you definitely want you're looking at the home owners or the people involved having battery backups and so on like that as just part of their process of supplying that medical equipment.
Now, I can tell you in other states, you go to the South, you go down to North Carolina, Florida, places like that, where their utility commission's even worse than ours. And when you go into new home subdivisions, that's actually one of the options now in some of these places in Florida and the Carolinas now, where you actually have, just like you can get, additional solar on your house or something, the battery backups, just like, just something you check off as one of the options you want on the house. But we've still got far higher reliability than they do back east, where they get the, tornadoes, hurricanes, things of that nature. Knock on wood.
Well, and the number of Teslas that there are in Mountain House,
Oh,
and
geez.
they can be reverse engineered to power the house if you need to. Those options are there. So,
Or the traffic signals.
But I can assure you, anytime these things happen, we do assess what we could do better and what we need to add in our plans, which is why we're working. The traffic signal thing we'll be ready for next time.
yeah. Well, we've definitely had some conversations in the background on this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on this topic? If not, I will move on to blight concerns. There are no new items or complaints regarding blight. I have not been made aware of any panhandling or loitering in the Safeway. I guess that was the complaints previous, but nothing new that I am aware of. As far as the dumping, the last meeting, the question came up regarding West Valley Disposal Services. So they do have a yearly bulky item pickup for residents in Mountain House. They just have to contact West Valley Disposal and make arrangements for that pickup. But there are no other special services as far as a community dumpster.
Now, last meeting, we were talking about the possibility of maybe getting the sheriff's work programs out as they did in Marata a couple months ago. Did that go anywhere? Anyone?
No, I did not follow up on that. Making note of it now to look into it.
Because they were basically, you could load everything up in the back of a pickup truck and take it, and they would unload it for you. And they had big dumpsters out there. They had inmates out pulling all the junk out of the backs of the trucks. In fact, they told the residents, they said, stay inside, do not get out of your truck. We'll take care of getting everything out. So it was quite a day.
Okay, I'll look into that and report for the next meeting. And next topic would be D, the visibility issues at Montessori. So I went to Montessori and inspected both driveways, and I did not see any visibility issues outside of our master restrictions. The hedges were maybe 2.5 feet tall to maybe 3 feet tall, but that was prior to the sidewalk. And that was on the Central Parkway side. On the Mustang Drive side, there was no vegetation that would obstruct any visibility for pedestrians or traffic. So I'm not sure if they cut it down right before I inspected it, but there did not seem to be any issues there. Any questions on that topic? We'll move on to future meetings. So November's meeting has been canceled, and the December meeting will be moved to December 7th, which will be a hybrid meeting in person, so town hall and on Zoom. And January 18th, 2024 would be the next one, then February 22nd. Let's see, are there, I put in dog concerns and animal regulations just because it's been such a hot topic, but I have not noticed anything on social media or received any complaints by in person, by phone, or even on Go request regarding animal regulations. Not sure if anybody else has heard any issues that have come up. I'm hoping with the information that we have put out, hopefully it's kind of slowed those violations. Any questions or concerns on that topic? Okay, we'll move on to Public Safety Committee applicants. Well, that was a question for Director Dillon, so we can skip that since he is not present. The next new topic, commercial vehicles. So we spoke about that briefly in the last meeting. There's a lot more commercial vehicles that are popping up in the community. And I've personally have issued several citations. The issue also is that we do not have the signage up restricting oversized vehicles. We have the signs, they are just not posted. I'm not sure what the holdup is on that. I can look into that. But other than that, we cannot, based on the ordinance, we cannot impound any of the commercial vehicles without the proper signage. And there's also quite a bit of commercial vehicles that are parking in the Safeway parking lot, the whole plaza. And they do not have the proper signage to enforce. So hopefully when we do the business watch outreach, I'll be able to contact the property owner. Steve, is it still Shay that owns that?
It's Shea Properties, yeah.
I'll have to reach out to them and see if they are willing to put the signage up. Because they're getting commuters parking in there as well. I've seen commuters park, get out, get into another vehicle and take off. That's why that parking area near Starbucks is packed early in the morning, and there are very few customers inside of Starbucks because they're all commuters parking there.
That may be something that I know there's several different retail establishments that will that have places set aside for commuter parking, but usually it's towards the outside edge of the lot where it's not going to be jamming up where you know customers are going to be coming and going. They might want to think about maybe taking a corner and setting that aside if there's going to be a commuter type of thing. I think it would be, as far as business goes, it's just good business to have people comfortable, visiting your place twice a day. Maybe they arrive early in the morning but they may do some shopping when they get home in the evening and so on like that. But seems a little impolite, I would guess would be the kindest word I can think of, to park your car right where people are coming and going all day long for a business and clogging it up and just leaving it there for 8 or 10 hours.
Any questions on that? Yeah, we can move on. Any comments from the committee members?
It's Sebastian again. Are there any plans to do like public safety announcements ahead of Halloween, for parents and kids to, watch out, carry flashlights, and drivers to watch out for kids, that kind of stuff? I know we've done that in past years. Just wondering if there's any plan for that this year.
Yes, I was waiting for next week. So it's a little bit fresher. So starting next week, I'll start posting that as I did last year. And part of the giveaways that we are giving on the trick or treat bags are the chem light necklaces, the glow in the dark necklaces. CHP has also donated those reflective slap wrist bracelets, and we have also reflective trick or treat bags. So we're pushing public safety and Halloween safety awareness as part of the outreach, giving out the trick or treat bags. And we'll definitely post information on social media.
That's pretty awesome. This is the first I've heard that you guys are adding, flash or light related objects to the goodie bag. Maybe if that could be added to the, the announcements of your trick or treat event, that may motivate more people to show up.
Yes. So I'll put something out that just a few days prior of what would be included. Not everything, but just a brief summary of some of the safety items that will be included. Last year we did the glow in the dark bracelets. This year we're doing the necklaces just to have a little bit more visibility. I didn't realize how small those bracelets were last year, so I figured the necklaces would be add a little bit more visibility. So I went with the necklaces this year.
Appreciate your work, Roger.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns from anybody in the group? Staff? All right, call it a night.
Good night.
Thanks, Roger.
All right,
Have a
it's
good night.
7:46. We are done. We will meet again on December 7th, hybrid.
Hopefully we'll see you all in person for the holidays.
Let's hope.
All right.
Everyone have a good
Yep.
night.
Have a good night.
All right.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.